السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد إن أصدق حديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة في الإسلام بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Him and we extol Him. ومسل أفضل صلاة السلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحابه من تبع هدى وبعد. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah Azza wa Jal, and I bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah is his slave and final messenger. Amma ba'd. Verily the most truthful of speech is the book of Allah Tabarak Ta'ala, and the finest guidance is that of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the most evil of affairs are the newly invented ones, bid'ah. And every bid'ah is going astray, and every innovation in Islam leads to the hellfire. Nasal al-afiyah. As what follows, my dear Salam and Iman, today, bi'idhnillah, we'd like to speak about deception. Wallahi tawfiq. We'd like to speak about the many faces of deception, and that any of us can be liable to be led astray and be deceived. And we ask Allah for guidance, and we ask Allah Ta'ala for thabat, for firmness. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal by His Asma al-Husna wa Sifat al-Uliya, by His names and attributes, that He thabatna, that He keeps us firm. Allahumma ameen. Because living in this digital age, any one of us are liable to be deceived by what we perceive as correct, as true, as authentic. And many of us are living multiple lies without even realizing it. In the school, we have a face. In the school, we have a face. We put on a face. It's a sham reality. We put on a face in our school systems. Online, we have many different faces in the social media aspect. And when we come to the masjid, we put on our jub, our jalabiyah, our hat, our tupi. We put on a face, we put on hijab. When we come to the masjid, we put on another Islamic face. So there are many different veils that we have acquired in this day and age, believing it to be a truth and a reality. And all of us, we say that we hate two-faced people. We don't like a person that's two-faced. But today, my dear Salam Iman, we can see that it's become the norm. That everyone we meet is two-faced. It's rare to find a person who is true and authentic. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us of those who are true. Ameen. In word and deed. We tell lies online and social media so as to get a stronger following, to get more likes. This is something which is popular right now. This is the time that we're living in. That everything that we want by an image. We wish to acquire it by what it looks like online, on the screen. We don't know what that thing is, but we can only imagine from what it looks like and what people are speaking about that thing. I want to say this to begin our khutbah, that telling lies is haram in Islam. Even those things that we consider as little white lies online, so as to boost our morale or to boost our appearance on social media, it's haram to tell lies. Oh, I know that it's haram, we say, but I want to get a better following. I want to get more likes, then I can generate more traffic or whatever to my page. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. This is now the norm. So I want to point this out from the beginning so that we understand, as Muslims, kadhib is haram in all forms. The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, and hadith is authentic, that lying is permitted in only 3 conditions. In only 3 circumstances is it permissible for a Muslim to lie. The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said that a husband can lie to his wife to please her, and vice versa. Can lie to each other to please the husband and wife, to please each other. And war, in the state of war, we can lie because there's tuqiyah that's allowed in war. Qital. Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that war is deceit. And when you want to make sulh, when you want to make reconciliation between 2 factions or 2 Muslims, we can lie to one Muslim or to another person or another group to say something so as to bring about reconciliation. Other than that, my dear Salam Iman, it is not permissible for us as believers to lie. We say, no, we're not lying. No, we're just not telling the whole truth. This is a form of deception, my dear Salam Iman. And what is deception? Deception in general, it is an act of misleading others by wrongfully informing them about something that is true in nature, but it's in a deceptive way. So we're saying something or we're describing something which may sound that we're telling the truth, but it can have different connotations. It's not the total and absolute truth. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Alayka bis-sidq." I give you glad tidings to truthfulness. It guides a person to piety. And he said, be away from kadhib. Because telling lies, it guides to fujur, to lewdness, bad things. And this fujur, it leads to the hellfire. Some of us, especially in this day and age, many of us, subhanallah, are conveying pieces of information. We're conveying news. And we believe that information that we're conveying is correct. Because we're living in a time period of fake news media. It's rampant. So it's very difficult to determine that piece of information that we've received in our inbox or in our feed is correct. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Kafa bimar kadiban an taqulu kullu ma tasma'un." Aw kama qala sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It is enough for a person to be considered as a liar that they convey every piece of information that they get. Allahu Akbar. Those things that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us and warned us about back then is so true to us today. Let me, my brother Salam Iman, remind us that being fake as a believer is something that does not coincide with our personality. To be a liar and to be a believer, they cannot be in the same sentence. To be deceptive Muslim, it does not come together. You cannot be deceptive and be a Muslim at the same time. You can either be one or the other. And those people who are prone to being deceptive are called two-faced. And what do we call people who have many different faces? We call them hypocrites, munafiqeen. So let me remind myself and you all here that to be fake, to be phony, to put on a sham, to what they call clickbait, so people can follow us or come to our website or to follow our chat or whatever they have online, our social media, is something which is not permissible in Islam. We may acquire a bigger following and wealth and income, but in the end, we're going to be losers. There's a hadith. And through Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Whoever loves to be saved from the hellfire and admitted into Jannah, then let him die with Iman in Allah and His Messenger." And he said, let him treat others the way that he would like to be treated. Allahu Akbar. None of us likes a two-faced individual. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he had told us in many, many ahadith the importance of being a true believer. And the Messenger of Allah ﷺ did not leave out, or he did not leave any stone unturned to remind us and to explain to us the benefits of being truthful. And the benefit of being truthful is that it leads to good morality. And this good morality leads to a Jannah. Allah Azza wa Jal, He had told us in His book, in Surah Munafiqun, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la tarhiqum amwalakum wa la awladakum an dhikrillah, wa man yaf'ala dhalika fa ulaika humul khasirun." Allah Azza wa Jal says that we should not allow our wealth or our families, ourselves, to be deceived by our wealth and our families from the remembrance of Allah. And whoever allows this to happen to themselves, then they are the losers. Many of us, my dear Salam Iman, have become deceived by our worldly possessions. Or when we look at a person's profile or we see the amount of followers and likes, we're deceived to believe that this person is a good person. This is a good person to follow. Because look at how many likes and look at how many friends that they have. Many of us are deceived by our physique. Many of us are deceived by our good job profession or our skill. But we have to know that one of the biggest deceptions after being deceiving, and deceptive regarding Allah and His Messenger is when a person has deceived their own selves. This is al-afiyah wa thabat. Many Muslims have deceived themselves into believing a sham regarding themselves. Allah is reminding us in His book, Ya ayyuhal insan, ma gharaka bi rabbikal kareem. Allah says about the people, human beings, mankind in general, what has caused mankind to become heedless or deceived regarding their Rabb, the Lord, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the most generous. We may not admit it, my dear Salam Iman, that we are deceived by our physiques. Because many people, they just go to the gym and exercise and pose for photos to post on their Instagram so that they can get more likes, they can get more feeds, they can get more appreciation. So that's how they validate themselves. They don't have time for anything else but to go to the gym, get nourishment for their body, and post these images of themselves, which is haram in and of itself, on Instagram for the whole world to see. Many of us, if you ask, majority of us, we will never admit that we're deceived by these worldly things and these allurements. But one thing we can all agree on as believers is that the shaitan, he is our aduwwun mubin. That the shaitan, he is our avowed enemy. Iblis, la'natullah. He will never stop until he can get the majority of us into the hellfire with him. And this, وَمَا اسْتَقَرَ اللَّهُ قِيلًا. Who is more truthful than Allah Azza wa Jal in speech? Allah Azza wa Jal is reminding us in many places in His book about the animosity between Shaitan and our father Adam and our mother Eve. How he conspired to get them out of Jannah. And what did the Shaitan say? قَالَ فَانْظُرْ إِلَى يَوْمِ يَبْعَثُونَ قَالَ إِنَّكَ مِنَ الْمُنْظِرِينَ. Shaitan, he asked Allah for respite. He said, Oh Allah. Iblis said, Oh Allah, give me respite until the day that they are raised up. So the war against Iblis and his soldiers and the sons and daughters of Adam will never cease until the last day. We have to understand that the shaitan, he deceives us into believing so many things. He shows us so many lies, and we believe these things as truths. The point that I want to make from this request that Iblis had of Allah, and Allah gave him respite, is that Shaitan said, قَالَ فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَخُذْعَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطِكَ مُسْتَقِيمٍ ثُمَّ لَأَتِيَنَّهُم مِّن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمِانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ وَلَا تَجِدُوا أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. Allah says, what Shaitan says after being granted respite. Iblis says, because you have aghwaytani. Allah is talking about the mentality of Iblis, that he is blaming Allah, Rabbul Alameen, the Lord of the worlds, for being the cause of him going astray. Many of us have this type of a mentality where we do not want to point the finger at ourselves. When we're pointing at others, there's other three pointing back at us. Majority of us, we are so ashamed to take the blame, but we'd rather blame everybody else for our situation. The shaitan, he blames Allah by saying, because you, O Allah, had led me astray. He justifies sitting and waiting on the straight path. And this is what we're asking Allah for every day in our salah. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path. The shaitan, this is where he's sitting and waiting on the straight path. To do what? To lead us astray. It's what he says. He says, I will come to them from before them, from behind them, from the right and from the left, and you will find not most of them shakirin. You will find that most human beings are not thankful. Allahu Akbar. This deceptive mentality is one of arrogance, that we have been given so much, but yet we feel that we have to lie because we want to acquire more. We believe lies and we add to lies and we agree with lies because it's going to boost our popularity online. And the majority of the things that are online is all ghurura. It's all deceptive information, fraudulent information, so that we can become something or show a face to the world that which we are not. Realistically speaking, in this day and age, majority of us have very little optimism and we lack enthusiasm to do things or to make that effort and struggle and strive to better ourselves. A simple example of this, as you're here looking at me now, you see me standing in front of you as a man of color. A lot of people, our forefathers, black people, they look at themselves and they blame their present situation. For those who were listening to this khutbah later on online, to not know that I'm a black person. But you see many people, black people today, they are still blaming their situation on what happened to their forefathers, to our forefathers over 400 years ago being put into slavery. They blame their situation up until today. What's going on with them and why they do not have that many opportunities in life is because of what happened to our forefathers over 400 years ago. Another example, brown people on the Indian subcontinent, they've come over here and other places in the world, they're still blaming their governments for the lack of opportunity that they have in their country. This is what caused them to leave and go to so many different places in the world. They blame their governments up until today. For years, they've been blaming their governments for the lack of opportunity in their country. And now living here in the Americas, you have the white people now. You're looking at the white man. They will blame their legislators for being so lax. Why are they so lax with the legislation and allowing so many people of color into their country? They say into our country. And they're taking away all of the good paying jobs from our children. So our future, the future of our children will be weak because the people of color, they'll be taking away the good jobs. How soon they forget that they came over here and they took away the best parts of this land from the indigenous people and pushed them into reservations. And now they're saying that this is their country and they are losing opportunity for their children. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. A lot of wrong. The point I want to make is a lot of wrong has happened and is happening in the world, but we have to overlook and we can and will overcome those things that went on. It is not a proper mindset for a believer to always be dwelling in the past. Because those things that happened and are happening today in Sudan and in many parts of the Muslim world and in this part of the world, the dhulm, the oppression, is continuing to go on. And people are capitalizing on those things. And they're taking money from those people who are oppressed. And the funds were supposed to be sent to those people who are oppressed to help their situation. There are people who are making fake reports and making fake accounts and are taking the money which was intended for those people who are oppressed in places like Sudan and many other parts of the Muslim world where they're suffering, in Burma and many other places. They're setting up fake accounts and they're taking the money for their own selfish motives. We have to understand, walillah alhamd, all of the land belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal. and the believers will in the end inherit the land. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Araf, إِنَّ الْأَرْضِ لِلَّهِ يُرِثُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. That this whole earth belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will be inherited by the believers. Allah Azza wa Jalla gives the inheritance of this earth to whomsoever He wants, and the end result will be for those who have taqwa. Today we are here, and tomorrow we're in another part of the world. Over time, if we continue to blame everybody for our situation, then we are not going to be any better than those people that we are blaming. If we keep on blaming them, it does not make us a better person, and it will not help our situation. Allah Azza wa Jal, He reminds us in Surah Ra'd, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْيِرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يَغْيِرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah Azza wa Jal says that He will not change the good condition, the good situation of a people until they change their situation themselves. We all have an opportunity to make an effort to better ourselves in a legitimate, halal way. We do not have to resort to hook and crook and deception to get things in life. May Allah Azza wa Jal help all of us to make better choices in our lives and stop allowing ourselves to be dragged down by ghurura. Amin, amin, amin. Bismillah, wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahabi man tabi'a huda wa ba'd. As we mentioned at the start of our khutbah, my dear brothers and Iman, for those who are coming in late, that we're living in the time of ghurura, deception. And we should not be heedless and follow the trends. Because if we realize that, and we understand that whatever we have and wherever we are, it's from Allah's plan and His hikmah. Whatever happened in the past, we should not dwell on it. What's going on today, we have opportunities to make a better situation for ourselves and our families and our children and our loved ones for tomorrow. But we cannot be stuck in a rut and always dwell on the past. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we have the internet, and we can use this for the better. We can use this for so many good things. But ma'asaf shadid, many people use the social media and internet for their own selfish motives. Many of us are following them, and we're lying on social media. We're lying, and we're using the excuse that we need to do this to get more likes or to generate more likes or thumbs up so that we can generate more income in the future. Let me leave us with an ayah which Allah Azza wa Jalla reminds us in Surah Fatir, verse number 5, so we can understand that Allah Azza wa Jalla's promise is always true. And we should never feel that we have to, bow down to the social norms or be deceptive, even though we think that it's not a big lie, that it is a lie in and of itself. And it's not permissible for Muslims to be deceptive and tell lies. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna wa'adullahi haqq, فَلَا يَغُرَنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغُرَنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ غُرُورٌ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, speaking to all of mankind, has stated in Surah Fatir, verse number 5, O mankind, all of humanity, verily the promise of Allah is true. So let not the present life of this world deceive you. And let not the chief deceiver, Iblis, Allah, deceive us about Allah Ta'ala. Allah is reminding us, La yaghurunnakum al-hayat dunya. We should not allow the life of this world to deceive us. And the life that we're living, the lie that we're living online, we should stop allowing ourselves to be deceived by that online lifestyle. We have to come to grips with ourselves and live a life of realism, of truity. We have to be true and factual within ourselves and have one face. We cannot have 3 or 4 faces online and with our family and when we come to the mosque. Let us, my dear Basalam Iman, stop living a sham reality. Let us stop living a lie and remember that the promise of Allah Ta'ala is true. As long as we're true to ourselves, we believe in Allah and His Messenger in the last day, and as the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, we treat others the way we want to be treated. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all of us and keep us all blessed and keep our families blessed and protected and guided ala sabila rashad. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Sallu alayhi wa sallam ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وافرح وقنا عذاب النار.